thousands of years, the civilization of ancient Egypt developed along the fertile banks of the Nile River.
Pay close attention to the
While many
formation
people
of
today
these
recognize
signs.
Egypt for its
A
pyramids and
scribe's hand
pharaohs,
must be steady,
fewer people know
for
how
the
children
words
were
of the
educated
gods
in this
are
ancient
eternal.
society.
Observe closely the sound, the owl.
Education in ancient
Note the
Egypt was
precise
closely
curvature of
connected
the
to
head
temples and
before the
government
ink dries.
administration.
Be
Most
careful
formal
with the
learning took
edges
place in
of the
temple schools, where priests and
glyph.
experienced
It
scribes
must
taught
be
young
precise,
students.
like
These
the
schools
real
helped train the
owl.
next generation of
In the
scribes,
temple schools of
officials,
2600
and administrators
BC,
who would serve
the children
kingdom.
of high-ranking officials would spend years mastering the sacred
At
script.
sunrise, young
This is
students
the
often
owl,
walked toward the temple
pronounced
school carrying papyrus sheets or wooden writing boards. These schools were usually located near temples because temples were centers
Remember,
not only of
the
religion
scribe's
but
duty
also of
is to
learning and
ma'at,
record keeping.
precision and truth.
Inside the classroom,
Ensure
students
your
typically
measurements
sat
are
on the floor
exact.
while their teacher read from
That is
papyrus
correct.
scrolls.
Now try this
Teachers were usually
I shall.
priests or professional scribes who had spent many years mastering the difficult Egyptian writing system.
As you can see on the tablet, the ratio of the second determines the
One
angle.
of the most important
Now look to the
subjects students
horizon.
learned was writing.
That same ratio
The
is
Egyptian
applied to the
writing
entire
system,
structure.
known as hieroglyphs,
Your line work
contained
is
hundreds
strong,
of symbols.
but this
Each
angle
symbol
here
represented
needs
sounds,
adjustment.
objects,
Precision
or
is
ideas.
key for the
Because of its
structures.
complexity, learning to write hieroglyphs
Mesechti,
required patience
the
and long
foreleg.
practice.
It always points north, showing us the way through the darkness. By aligning the Merkit with the North Star, we chart the path of Mesechti
Teachers demonstrated how to write the symbols using reed pens dipped in black or red ink. Students practiced carefully on wooden tablets or papyrus sheets. Archaeologists have discovered many ancient practice tablets covered with
Look
repeated
closely.
hieroglyphs written
The
by
edges
students.
must be smooth, and the
Writing
wings
was an
aligned
important
thus.
skill because scribes played
Practice
a vital
this
role in
stroke
Egyptian
until it is
society.
perfect.
They recorded taxes, agricultural harvests, trade records, and religious texts. Without scribes, the administration of the kingdom would not have been possible.
The loop of the ankh must be perfectly centered over the crossbar. Ensure your lines are steady. The scribes
In
meticulously
addition to
prepared
writing,
their tools,
students also studied
understanding
mathematics.
the importance
Egyptian
of the
mathematics
written
was
word in
practical
the
and
Old
used in
Kingdom.
everyday tasks such as measuring
This
land,
cartouche is broken.
calculating harvests, and
It
organizing
speaks of the
construction
journey to the
projects.
Duat.
Students sometimes used small stones or counting boards to learn
Pay close
arithmetic.
attention to this cartouche.
Geometry was also
it depicts
important.
Menes,
Egyptian
also
engineers
known as
used
Narmer,
geometry to plan
the unifier
buildings,
of the two lands
temples,
around
and
3100
pyramids.
BC.
Some teachers
As the
explained these
smoke
ideas to
rises,
students
so
by
do our
drawing
prayers
shapes
to
and
the heavens.
diagrams on papyrus.
You must hold the sensor
Another subject
steady,
sometimes
like
taught in
this.
temple schools was astronomy. Ancient
This
Egyptians
symbol
carefully
represents
observed the stars to
Ankh,
track time
the
and
key
seasons.
of life.
The appearance of certain stars helped predict
Hold
the
the brush
annual flooding
steady
of the
like
Nile
this,
River,
my prince.
which was essential for
The owl
agriculture.
must face this direction. Now try the red ochre for the determinative. Gently now, feel the resonance of the string. And
Students
softly
also
on the
learned about
flute.
Egyptian history and religion.
Yes, very
Teachers
good.
told stories about famous
Sharpen the
pharaohs,
curve of the
religious
back,
traditions,
like this.
and the gods worshipped by the Egyptian people. These
gods
lessons helped
demand
students
perfection
understand
in
their
our
culture and their
craft.
responsibilities
Observe
within
how the
society.
ratio of the base to the height
Some children,
aligns perfectly
especially
with
those
the
from
golden
royal or
mean.
noble families,
This is how
received
ma'at
private
is
education
maintained in
inside
our
palace
structures.
classrooms.
Ensure
These
the
royal
red
students
ink
learned
marks
similar
the
subjects,
spoiled
but were also
sacks.
trained in leadership and
We cannot
administration.
afford errors in the temple
Art and
records,
music were also
apprentice.
part of Egyptian culture.
Precise
Some
with
students
the
practiced
symbol
drawing
for
sacred
enduring.
animals and symbols used in
Your
temple
strokes
decoration.
must be firm,
Others learned to
like
play
the
musical
monuments
instruments such as the
themselves.
harp or flute.
When the star Sirius
As students
returns to the
became more
sky,
skilled,
the
they
inundation
could train as
begins.
apprentice scribes.
The waters
These
rise and
apprentices
bring the
helped
black
copy official
silt to our
documents and
fields.
record temple
Observe
activities.
how the scribe used
In many
the
temples and
determinative here.
administrative
But this cartouche
centers,
suggests
large
a later
archives
dynasty,
stored thousands
surely.
of
Perhaps it
papyrus
is a
records about
stylistic choice
agriculture,
rather than a chronological
taxes,
marker.
trade, and religious ceremonies.
The bread is fresh today. Did you finish your lessons?
Students also studied the cycles of the Nile
Almost.
River. The yearly flooding
at
of the
this
Nile
one.
brought fertile soil that made farming possible. Understanding this natural cycle was extremely important for Egyptian society. During breaks from their studies, children
This
rested in
technique
temple
ensures
courtyards
the
or under
ink
palm
binds
trees.
to the papyrus
They often shared
fibers.
simple food such as
See
bread
how
and
the
fruit
red
before
highlights
returning
the
to their
phonetic
lessons.
value.
Learning required discipline and repetition. Many ancient texts describe students practicing writing for long hours while teachers corrected their work.
Swing the censer gently so the smoke carries your prayers upward. Place the offering here, precisely as instructed.
The sun is high.
When the school day ended,
Let's go quickly.
students walked home along village roads
past the
beside the
palms,
Nile.
we are
Some
almost
continued
home.
practicing writing at home by the light of small oil lamps.
Inundation levels must be recorded
Families were proud of
precisely
children
this
who
season.
could read
But
and
what
write.
if the registers in the
Literacy
south
offered
are
the
inaccurate?
possibility of becoming a
We must
scribe,
account for the
a respected
discrepancy.
profession that
Did you
provided
finish your
stable
sums
work and
before the
social
master
status.
collected them?
Almost.
Royal scribes
I hope
worked
he doesn't
inside
check it
palaces and
tomorrow.
temples recording
The bread at
important
home will
events
be
and
warm by
government
now.
decisions. Their work helped preserve the history and
Even
administration
in
of ancient Egypt.
2600 BC,
Through education,
the mastery
young
of
Egyptians
hieroglyphs was
prepared
the key to
themselves to
upward
serve their
mobility.
communities and their
Attend
kingdom.
to these words, my son. Do not stray from the path of the ancestors, for their wisdom is the breath of life.
Today, archaeologists continue to discover papyrus scrolls,
Ensure
writing
the
tablets,
pigment is fine,
and temple schools that
lest it
reveal how
clogs the
education
brush.
worked thousands of years ago.
And roll the scroll
These discoveries
with care,
remind us that
apprentice.
behind the great pyramids and powerful pharaohs were generations of students learning, practicing, and building the knowledge of one of the world's greatest civilizations. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy discovering fascinating stories from ancient history, please consider subscribing to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next journey into the past.